Olá, estamos de volta com Siga o Mestre, hoje conversando com Richard Barrett. Richard, we have just talked about the new era, and then you told me that this new era is the era of sharing. What exactly does it mean?
Well, in the past decades, we've all been learning to find freedom and independence. You know, democracy is built up all over the world, and democracy is about freedom. But it's about sharing too, because democracy is built on shared values. Not shared beliefs, shared values.
What is the difference?
Beliefs are assumptions we hold to be true, but they may not be true. Values is the basis for decision making in a democracy. So we can now stop talking about beliefs and say, well, what is it that you really value in your heart? Now we move beyond beliefs. And that's the basis of democracy. But it's also what's happening in our organizations, because people in organizations saying, you know, I want to be free to be able to think about these ideas. I want to bring my passion to work. I want to be able to become fully who I am.
Confusing, Richard. If we are talking about a corporation with 40,000 people, and every single of these 40,000 want to do whatever they want to be because they want to be free, this is going to be a whole mess.
Of course it is, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people coming into a corporation, giving them the ability to have a voice inside the organization. We call that empowerment. People have a voice, but there is an overall vision for the organization and a sense of mission. What are we doing? And we all sign up for that. So we have a voice in moving forward with our intention to meet the vision and mission of the organization. So actually we become very, very focused.
So first of all, be aware of the mission of the company you want to work for.
Absolutely.
That's the first step.
Yeah. What is the mission of this company? And what are their values? I invite young people these days when they go to interviews, say, okay, so you may want to employ me, but I'd like to know what your values are. What do you stand for?
The interviewer asks the interviewer.
No, yes. The interviewer asks the interviewer. I was just in Moscow teaching some students there, and I said, you're all leaving next year. When you go to the company and you're interviewed, make sure you find a company that matches your values. Because if you don't, you're going to be unhappy. And if you're unhappy, you'll not be able to give the gift of who you are. And so you're just going to show up every day, and it's going to be a waste of time for you, and you're going to look for another job. You want to find a company where you can bring your personal values to work and you don't have to park them in the car park. So it makes you feel good. You see, cultural capital, the culture of an organization, is the new frontier of competitive advantage.
You are saying something very new here. It's not top-down anymore, or it's not to be top-down anymore.
Well,
if you are empowering your collaborators, if you are listening more and more to your collaborators.
Exactly. In fact, because you see, you've got this immense pool of talent, and they've all got ideas. And if you listen, you'll get some amazing ideas. So it isn't to say that the leadership hasn't to set the direction. Yes, they have to set the direction. But now they've got more voices to listen to say, oh, wow, that was a good idea. I didn't even think about that. So they're inviting the voices of the people into the organization and getting more and more ideas. That's the basis of having a company with diversity, for example. When there's more diversity, there are more different... Yeah, there's more creativity. So, but if you've got diversity without empowering people, it's a waste of time.
But then there is an old saying that says, with empowerment comes responsibility.
That's what companies are finding, that they've had all this freedom, but now there's a backlash because they're spoiling the environment, or they're harming nature, or whatever. And they say, oh, freedom is okay, but we need responsible freedom. We need some rules of the game.
Responsible freedom, you said?
Yeah.
What is responsible freedom?
There's another word for responsible freedom. It's called accountability.
Accountability, all right.
And at the basis of the accountability is not just getting results, but it's also ethical too. There's more and more talk about companies being ethical, you know, the Enrons of the world and all of that. You know, people are going, oh, we've had enough of that. We don't trust business people. Well, rightfully, because they've been, what's in it for me, not what's best for the common good. You know, there's a shift taking place from being the best in the world to being the best for the world. That is an amazing shift that has to take place in business.
Interesting what you're saying, because the other day I heard that what may be ethics for you, it's not necessarily ethics for me.
Absolutely.
So are you defining a new universal ethics standard, or?
I am not, but people inside organizations are, and they're defining the ethics that for them makes sense. Let me give you an example. You know, your body is made up of trillions of cells.
Okay.
Each one of those cells is a viable, independent cell. If you cut yourself, it knows what to do. It heals. Do you tell your body to heal? No, you don't.
No.
So all of these cells are viable, independent entities. So, and they've bonded together to form group structures, which we call organs. And these organs know what to do. Do you tell your stomach to digest?
No.
Or your lungs to breathe? No, they won't. They know what to do. Now, let's say, for example, so all of these organs have now learned how to cooperate with each other to form a higher order entity, which is you, Carlos, and me, Richard. Okay? So it's the same in business. Viable independent entities are the employees. They bond together to form group structures, which may be different departments, and those group structures learn how to cooperate to form this higher order entity with a unique vision and shared values. Now, when some of these entities, let's say the different departments, start fighting each other, there is internal competition, the organization can't be successful, because it's like your body.
Very good example. My stomach doesn't go on a strike, for example.
Not only does your stomach go on strike, but it does not compete with your lungs.
Very good. My stomach does not compete with my lungs.
They work together. They cooperate. See, the body is a perfect example of the evolution of consciousness from cells into group structures called organs, and those organs are now cooperating. And that pattern of evolution of consciousness has been going on for billions of years. And now we're struggling to find the same pattern of evolution in our world. So individual human beings are trying to become viable and independent entities. They're trying to get, in Maslow's terms, from survival to relationship, self-esteem, into self-actualization. When they become viable and independent, freedom, they find responsible freedom. And now they bond together with other viable independent entities to create group structures, either organizations or nations. These nations or organizations or departments in organizations now need to know how to cooperate with each other to form this higher order entity. And in fact, on the planet right now, that's the big issue. How can individual human beings bond together to form nations, and nations cooperate to form the higher order entity called humanity?
Is this the big issue, or is this truly the revolution?
It's not revolution, it's evolution.
Evolution! Será que essa é a revolução, ou será que esse é o grande desafio? De acordo com Richard, essa é a evolução. Nos siga o mestre aqui, logo após o intervalo comercial.